Hi, good morning. When I can find my lavalier mic, maybe I'll attach it and have something to say. But for now, I'm just going to let you look at the sunrise. This will be, we're counting down to the end of my sunrises here, so happy to stream it. I'm going to put on socks because my feet are cold, and I'm going to make some tea. Instead of looking for my lavalier mic, I saw my Bluetooth headset, so I should be streaming now. Audio. Um, I could do a sound check on my laptop, but it's not very important. I have a, that's a real inducement to listen to me, isn't it? For me to say, it is not important. I have a little throat tickle, which I could turn to a lozenge, cough drop, throat drop. But I decided tea is good. Those throat drops often leave me feeling more raw than good. If this stream continues past the sunrise, perhaps I'll do some of the moving out chores that hang over me. The sky is really clear. Hmm. Oh, I think I'm going to put on a warmer layer and take you outside. When I wake up and my brain isn't very alert yet. I often will opt to just put on the dirty stuff that's next to. I mean, I haven't showered yet, so might as well, right? I assume that's something people do. Oh, no, I'm gonna wear these warm, fuzzy pajama pants that just caught my eye. Fun. I don't know where my slippers are. um, I did not think I'd still be here when the weather turned cool. So I guess I'll put on shoes. Oh, here's some slip on shoes. This will be a good test because I don't think I want to keep these, so wearing them now will help me make that decision. How many times do you do uh, what I do? Hold on. In complete reversal of my principles, I buy the cheapest, lowest quality thing and hate it, and it's uncomfortable, and from the moment I have it, I want to, you know, get rid of it. And uh, just because I don't have money, but I'd rather buy. Okay, sound check coming up. Money, but I'd rather buy. Okay, sound check. Alrighty. Um, I'd rather buy. I. Why is it so hard? I would rather spend more on something lasting. Moreover, why don't I go to the next level and say I would rather spend more and buy from a producer whom I, you know, respect, trust. Um, it's so hard because there really aren't any. Um, one of my little dreams is to, it's a little dream. I'm having a hard time accepting my, I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna pick you up. I know it looks really cool reflected, but I don't want to catch any neighbors, so I'll. Oh, what the hell? I'm moving. I have this principle that, despite the fact that I have 0 to 2 viewers on most of my content. I've always operated with this principle that I share things openly, publicly, and I don't have the permission to share other people's information or, you know. So I've always, I tend to not use friends' names if I'm talking about them. I say them instead of her, he, she, him, her, him is our, was, were, be, being, been, but, he, she, it. Oh, making tea. Uh, tea. Like, unbeknownst to me, I guess I thought it was paper or something. I've recently learned that tea bags are putting microplastics into my body, and tea is my number one drink. So, speaking of like the principles I want to live by that I'm not living by, I want to buy loose tea and either do it the way where I guess it's just like sitting in the bottom of the teacup. I've I've drunk tea that way many times. Um, I think of it as like an East Asian style, but uh, it's the original style of tea drinking, I'm sure. And then there's also like the little balls that are mesh or metal with holes. Well, it's either mesh metal screening or metal with punched out holes in them. Now, I've tried those before. Since I'm moving, I'll look through one of my kitchen drawers. Um, oh yeah, here's one. The chain came undone. I've seen a chain. Okay, I've all long-time viewers, by which I mean me, will know that I have a peeve with my pronunciation, where I tend to change already into already. Already. Okay, so I've decided to give those shoes away. Next I'll try this pair. Unfortunately, I say I'm making these decisions in my house, but nothing's actually left the house, and it's going to take physical effort, and my physical abilities are quite low. So I don't know if I can turn to friends and ask them to donate things for me, or whether I'm going to pay somebody, or whether any of this stuff is going to be donated or just thrown away. There was a time period when, uh, because of my difficulty with everything, I I don't have a relationship that feels good with almost anything, but in this specific example, I mean with with a charity, and I don't know what it was, and knowing me, it wasn't much, but I have thrown perfectly good things in the dumpster below before and said that I'm supplying uh, hope for the next phase of humanity that will be living off of garbage dumps. You know, you gotta put some perfectly good things in there for people to find because obviously we're not doing sustainability. Okay, I just found the metal chain I was looking for. It smells like coins, and therefore I don't want to attach that to my mesh ball for tea. Um, and it occurred to me that uh, I could use string or wire, but string is good. So I'll probably tie a string and maybe a hook on the other end to that ball and have a tea thingy. Now the funny slash challenging slash stupid thing is that I don't know how or where I'm taking any of these things for future me, where I'm saving them, how that's even going to be possible. I try not to be too sad. But I am sad. I think it's natural to be sad because I think that I live in a dystopia. What's the opia part? Myopia, utopia, dystopia, optics. How it looks. Everything looks dis dysfunctional, bad, wrong. Everything looks ute, utility, utopia, you, not eugenics, that's EU. What's the link between you and good? Ugly. I don't know, but it seems like for all. That's what it feels like. Utopia, like good for all. Oh, I've lost my. There it is. Now these shoes aren't great either, but so back to knowing my dealers, so to speak, and knowing my suppliers and buying quality. It's probably foolish and not possible, but currently my future life in Mexico is a utopian fantasy. It's not utopian, but anyway, it is a fantasy. Uh, and in it, I imagine being able to afford living more in keeping with my values. So, like, I've spent time looking up tailors in the place I want to move. So I think, um, instead of buying the next suit I wear mass produced, I could possibly afford having something that's for me, that's quality, that lasts the rest of my life, maybe. Now I'm looking for the plug because the phone is losing its charge. Believe it or not, there was a time where I knew where most things were. But oh, this slow, sloppy move is not allowing that. Still, most things I look at, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Um, uh, this isn't. People love to rip apart what they don't understand. In my own home, I have when I'm functioning at my favorite level, I have all sorts of things custom, and it's not. Well, I mean, it's custom, so it's not. It's, so the sun's about to rise there, and as I always say, as I've said multiple times, on the equinox, it rises there. So, however many degrees that is, that's the amount of change that we've experienced since September 22nd. I could complain. I mean, I am complaining. Could complain about when people uh, what I want to do is generalize and say, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had the experience of, you know, there's something that exists that's set up in a way that makes sense to you. And it is specifically not the standard way of doing it, because the standard way doesn't meet your needs. And someone else, I think what I'm arguing is the the value of standards is that they are quickly understood by many. The downside of standards is that they are not custom and therefore do not fit the purpose, circumstances. I just read a book called, I don't remember, it might be called Model Standard, it might not. Standard Model, and it is, I was about to say it's about dot 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 dot, and if you think about it, that's such a reductionist way to talk about a work of art. It seems more what I'm getting at here now is that the first thing that occurs to us might be the fastest, but it's unlikely to be the most fitting, the most apt. I think that's a metaphor or something for current life, society. But anyway, the book describes numerous occasions in which by attempting to design a standard, the like the slight deviation between the standard and what's apt multiplies over time and multiplies uh, by each incident, by each occurrence. Yeah, in place and time, in person, so that great harm can result from universal standards. probably should stop staring directly into the sun. And I suppose it's always shocked me how many people seem to seek standards, regardless of their fittingness, applicability to. This gets into psychology and philosophy. I'm looking at a golden retriever. You can draw a golden retriever standard, and then no individual fits it exactly, but oh, whatever. This is a good day. Today is automatically a good day because I'm doing more than usual. This rocking is stretching and cracking my back. I'm an antiquated machine that doesn't move enough because I'm in 24-hour pain at a level that minor movements exhaust me. So I try to conserve my ability to function by resting most of the time. Nevertheless, I know that if there's a way through, if there's a way out of here, it's through more movement. I would like to, if there's any help to be found, I hope that it either finds a new uh, more successful temporary relief so that I can do what's needed for long term relief. um, I'm pretty pessimistic about being able to find a workable path in the US healthcare system. I'm saying I'm going to try it, but I kind of think if I just lived somewhere that wasn't nihilistic, including the healthcare system. But mostly I mean daily life. Then I'll have the inspiration to do the little exercises and the rest that move me in the right direction. It's a big if because I don't have the language or community skills, social skills to find things like yoga or patient caregivers, individualized medical attention. I've been getting some rewards from the Fediverse lately. Maybe this video will be where I explain what the Fediverse is, what the different terms mean. Even with everything, even with the political doom of the past 30 years, I think the greatest mistake with global consequences and long lasting consequences was to turn the internet into a commercial space. It wasn't developed that way, of course, and yet somehow the same leaders, administrators, politicians, thinkers who can understand permitting and funding military and academic development. I mean, this applies to medicine and the internet. The academic research. Like, there's a certain understanding of funding and having an ecosystem. I mean, not in the current administration, but in the past, there's been an understanding that developing science can happen and be funded and be good. Not, it could happen non-commercially. Like that is where the internet comes from. And yet those same minds, those same governments, those same, appropriators think that the proper course is to make something and then hand it over to rich men, the free market, which is not free. It's a it's a faith, it's a religion. The free market, belief in the free market is a religion. I'm probably about at that stage of the new atheists in the early years of this century, this millennium, which is annoying. Like all the people who are anti capitalist right now, compare it to like new atheists, which is once you finally shake off a long held belief, you start to see how everything proceeded from that. And you see all these links, and you can be a broken record. And I think that's for those who aren't on the anti capitalist spectrum, which would have been me maybe 10 years ago or something, to blame everything on capitalism. It's too amorphous, it's too big, it's too non-specific. It's like saying religion is the cause of all wars or all human problems. But there's another, I think, fallacy, which is a lot of seemingly rational, science-minded people will talk about. Now, I'm going to get this wrong because I don't do this. So this is not one of the things like the anti-capitalism and the new atheism. Those trends I've participated in, um, but the one I'm going to try to describe, I haven't. So I, I don't know what I'm saying, but people like to talk about our animalistic nature or our it's something brain, ape brain, no, monkey brain, no. It's something really. I feel like it's violent or stupid, but there's a lot of. Oh, I wonder, is the sun just blaring out your lens? I mean, I don't know. I guess the is the phone designed to handle it? Am I killing my camera? Lizard brain. Apparently we're lizards. That's what people say. Why don't I like that? If you hang out with me long enough, you learn that I don't really like anything. No, that's not true. Um, I don't like any framing that puts humanity down. I mean, earlier I said we're living in a dystopia, but I don't believe that it's. inevitable. I just believe it happens to be our current reality. I'm trying. This tea is no longer. It's warm. It's above tepid. It's not hot. Doesn't tepid mean warm? I don't know, but if I were describing, if I were served something, I mean, tepid might also mean cool. I think of tepid as body temperature, basically. If I were served something, and this feels a little bit warmer, if I were served something and I said it was tepid, it would be not as warm as this. Mm. But it's quickly getting there. Hot, warm, tepid. Is tepid room temp? No, I think it's body temp. That's just me. I'm an intrepid explorer. Tepid explorer. When people invoke lizard brains and well, there's just a lot of ways that people talk about human nature as either bad or inevitable, and I feel that it's usually flawed. It's maybe an excuse, or among like the manosphere, it might be a reason for advocating certain retrograde behaviors. I feel it can be difficult to discern where impulses come from, and things that seem natural and human nature may be conditioned. And so instead of nature, it's nurture. Um, the biggest, I mean, I think the salient point is that it doesn't really matter. I find these discussions a waste of time, distractions. I remember when it used to seem to matter whether homosexuality was genetic or a choice, as if millions of people can be uh, discriminated against if it's as long as it's not natural. I mean, and I suppose if I had to put on a right wing brain, I might think, well, there's millions of murderers, and that's a choice. But then again, I think those are the very people who would say it was natural to want to dominate others physically. I just don't see the utility in the question. I think it makes more sense to look at who exists and how can we coexist respectfully and thrive. Does anyone remember what I was talking about when I got off on the lizard brain deal? If I give myself time and I take away the pressure of got to know, it'll come back to me. I'm going to try this. It might F up the microphone, in which case, goodbye. I was talking about new atheism and anti capitalism. And how lizard brains fit into that because it's simplistic. It's looking for one answer to everything. And I don't mean for my critiques of capitalism to be facile, simplistic, reductionist, all encompassing. And I also don't want to say that, like, oh, well, we're just programmed to be selfish. Again, I don't think it helps to devote energy into speculating exactly why. I mean, it can be interesting, and there definitely like are subsets of people who, I think it's great for subsets of us to study everything, but to make improvements depend upon answers that we probably won't ever get is a trick to prevent progress. It does not matter how many of the world's problems have been caused by organized religion or how many of the world's problems have been caused by capitalism, honestly, which is why I differ from, I don't have a philosophy that I'm pushing towards, like well, there's no reason for me to give examples because I don't. Um, what I have is clear dissatisfaction with the status quo and the status, would it be the status quo ante? Um, I'm interested in the status quo post. Maybe. I don't know Latin, but it sounds like what I'm saying is accurate. I want to know, can we talk about what we want our lives to look like? Can we put more focus, time, and energy on that and less on blame and explanation for what got us into this mess? Now, of course, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. How do I know that's true? Because it's a cliche. Um, Again, it's very valuable for a subset of humanity to be devoted to studying all of the questions. But I think that for the everyday general consensus, I think it's easier to form consensus around a positive future. And I'm saying this to myself because I'm working on not blaming. I mean, I think that the choices made by my fellow building mates, city mates, state mates, citizens, voters, etc., are inexplicable, stupid, indefensible, illogical. Did I say inexplicable already? I mean, but what good does that do moving forward? Do I think that the only way forward is to humiliate a large subset of the population? Because I don't think that's going to work out. I mean, I think that's the mistake that's being perpetrated by the side currently in power. The argument that I wish I heard someone making is simply, what do you expect people to do when you are taking away their voice? What do you expect? You know, I mean, I feel it's very, very, very obvious that coercive control is the only path being currently pursued. And the question is to ask our neighbors, is that what you want? Number one, do you not think it'll ever be turned against you or anyone you love? Number two, do you feel that it's right in your heart to look at the large numbers of people who either did not vote or who voted against this and say, you don't have free will. You don't get a choice. There is a percentage of people who feel that way, yes. And they happen to be the most empowered, unfortunately. But I find it worth asking, what future do you foresee? Not the ghouls, but the everyday people. What future can you imagine? What possible future, you know, what can you possibly imagine good is going to happen by coercive control over a majority of human beings? Because one of the questions that I say to myself, and I would say to any other voter on the other side, is, do you want victory or peace? I would like to find a way to settle for peace, prosperity, and I'm willing to not have total victory. What does that mean? That's the question. That's what's interesting. Those are interesting conversations to have. That, if we had deliberative bodies, they could deliberate. What does it look like? But unfortunately, the way we're living is there's no thinking, there's no compromise, there's no discussion, there's no exploration. There's only, we're going to take a hardline position and then enforce it and promote it, advertise it, market it. It's all about, it's all winner take all. It's all designed to never think in my stream that I did in bed that was quite laconic. It just means slow, but laconic sounds so good, right? Um, does it just mean slow? I feel like there's a different connotation. All right, all right, all right. Anyway, I tried to rewatch that stream because I was like, I said some important things in this stream. I mean, I couldn't get through it because it's unendurable. But if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't be doing this one. Yeah, I share my practice rounds. I share my mistakes. I share my rough drafts because I'm sharing my life. I'm the only real reality show I know. Um, but anyway, in that stream, hold on, that was such a discursion that I don't remember where I was going. I'm gonna have to do something with this. I mean, I really should turn it around, but then I'll be facing into the sun. What about sideways? You ever think about that? No, honestly. It would help if I could replay the tape, then I would know where I was going. We're gonna try this. Do you know the way to San Jose? Diversions aren't evil. LA is a great big freeway. Put 100 down and buy a car. It was a simpler time. You can't put 100 down and buy a car anymore. Okay, I don't like this. That's good to know. We'll try something else. I sounded like one of the characters in an audiobook I listened to recently. Uh, maybe someone who worked for Barish Stronza. This isn't good either. I might have to go inside. I'm picking up DJ radio, terrestrial radio, 105.1. I didn't even know that 105.1 was a local station. Oh, fudge. Fudgicle. Oh, all of this is just terrible. Too much sunlight. Well, one of the important things, before I get back to the immediate previous stream, was it the immediate previous stream? I think making a sandwich might have been. I don't know. The flaw of new atheism, and as I described it, and anti-capitalism, as I described it, and whatever the third thing was. Oh, just reducing everything to natural drives. It's that it's an oversimplification. And I am willing to say that perhaps the desire for oversimplification is a natural drive. But it could also be societal because we're not being caring, kind, and patient. Anything that seems like a natural drive invites the question, could you go back in human history and ever find a society that operated differently? And if so, were they going against the natural drive, or is it not a natural drive? Or, is it just not relevant? I think there are many behaviors little studied within Native American and other Aboriginal tribal people that are not very well understood by contemporary Western. I'm not saying one way or another because I'm not educated. I'm just saying these are some of the reasons why I don't feel comfortable ascribing behaviors to human nature. But mostly, I just don't see the usefulness of it. Well, I'm probably not going to remember what I was wanting to reference from that stream. I could not rewatch. Hmm. I did think, now here's a plausible use for AI, which would be, give me a transcript or summarize this video. I won't do it because I don't employ AI at all. I don't believe that it currently exists in a manner that can be ethically used. So this is just a decision I make when it comes to a lot of things that are new. It's just like I'm not going to, like, I never made a TikTok account because the the good that might come of it was already apparent to me that the negatives outweighed the positives. So, and that's the way it is for me with Amazon Prime or with Spotify or TikTok or whatever threads or and I did wonder about Blue Sky. I think it's useful for some, for those who are on corporate platforms, and if it appeals to them and helps them get out, then it's useful. But I had already gotten out, and I'm happy on the Fediverse. I did say I might describe what the Fediverse is, and then I started to talk about. Oh, hi, birds. Oh, you're so sweet. Stay here. I wish the camera caught you. Hi, hi. What you need? Bye bye. I don't feel well. Surprise, surprise. I took my medication when I woke up, so my current routine, I don't get another dose. And I woke up at 3 a.m. or something, so it's now, it looks like 8:15, 8:20, and like this is the end of my usefulness. So maybe we'll get up and do some tidying. I've reached the point where whatever I'm talking about has already served its usefulness. I liked it. There's no point in going on to the next episode. Or until, I mean, basically, I'm at this point stubbornly talking, trying to recapture a point that I've lost, and this is supposed to be for fun. It's not an assignment. It's not a job, although I am paid $50 a month. So I guess it is a job. And what about the other funds that you get donated? Yeah, I don't know what my monthly income is. Oh. LA is a great big freeway. Put $1 million down and buy a bar of soap. What does that have to do with it being a great big freeway? All right, you got me there. But I could definitely rewrite the song to reflect economic bleakitude. Speaking of expensive cars, I joked. I mean, when I sell this place, I'm getting an amount of money that I hope will sustain me for a decent period of time. But we live in such a hyper capitalist weird world that like I could just buy I could find one car that costs, you know, most of what I'm gonna walk away with. It's just so ridiculous. I heard on a YouTube channel yesterday that there's a gym in the West Village that costs $10,000 a month. Da 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 da. I think taxes could be raised. I don't want to go through this. Do I have the energy to read and make fun of this? Um, so of course this idiotic thing sells a pair of screen protectors for my one phone. So fortunately, as I'm packing to move out, I found it again. So I'll replace the scratched because they're tempered glass screen protectors. I'll replace the current one that has scratches on it with uh, the other one of the two. You know what I'm getting at. They stupidly, it's like batteries or hot dog buns or whatever. They don't sell them to fit your needs. But so I was looking at their ad copy and like, here's it says the case is right. Don't know your iPhone size name? No one does. We got you. And I'm like, yeah, that's that speaks to me. And then they call them like small, small fancy, big, big fancy, and like which is the pro, and like that I understood. But then like they really get carried away with this conversational doesn't quite fit, concerns, lonely, contact us, we'll make it right. Okay, like that's gross if they're not actually providing counseling. It's called Smartish, just to know who these annoying people are. It says here it says new phone, who this? That's Based in Austin, Texas, our team is a highly caffeinated group of folks that since 2009 have taken our products seriously, but ourselves not so much. Smartish mindset to simplify the overly complex. Two, makes everyday life a little easier. I mean, it, it gets worse, which is, I wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for some of this other stuff. What's included? How to get sheet done. Okay, hate that. It's just, it starts to, I don't know about you, but like I start to get nauseous at when corporations think that they're cool. Um, here's the one that makes me furious. Uh, when you're done doing it, all right, ditch that tray. Mother Earth is watching. Recycle that bad boy. Like we all know that plastic recycling is a scam, so I don't need marketing bullshit. Uh, phone tidying kit, dirty phone, inquire within. My point is just that it gets exhausting. Like at what point, here's review this baby on Amazon, and then but above it it says let it be written, let it be done. Is that biblical? I mean, it's like nauseating. Review this baby on Amazon. I loathe these people. They give a sticker. Oh yeah, like this is I want to be loyal to. I mean, I guess they're trying to talk to kids, teens, as if other people don't also have phone cases. I just I could not feel more contempt and disgust for these people. I hate capitalism. I don't know, maybe I'm done because I'm tired. I could come on again later. I was gonna pick things up and say like, oh, here's a part of moving out for me is processing my stuff and talking about what I want to keep, what I have kept, why I've kept it, what matters to me. But I'm kind of too tired. This is. Oh, I know something that relates back to my. I mean, this is relatable. I think it goes back to my heavy depression days, which is how it can be difficult to distinguish between tiredness and sadness. I just found this is insane. I just found on this post-it note the address of someone I went to college with 30 years ago. But it's not even their, I mean, I don't know. Why do I have it? Maybe I'll look it up on maps. Oh, weird. I wonder when. It says AFL-CIO steward, and it makes me wonder. Federal Union of Public Employees. I mean, sadly, it's probably just some inducement to give a donation instead of being anyone in my family's, you know, legit. Um, Here I am, a MAC Cosmetics worker. How did this come into my possession? No idea. I've got a mercury dime. What's great is how powerful this magnet is. I'd love to find a different use for it. But, Rob, you're moving. What's the point of anything? I don't know. I don't know. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go. Perhaps I'll be back.